but it would be fair to say that some of the other members of the fellowship said, we think you probably shouldn't do this. And that particularly in the 50s and 60s, they explored all sorts of other things. We could spend an hour talking about the various treatments that AA groups and AA members came up with, kraut juice and Caro syrup and vitamin B shots and all sorts of, in the 60s and 70s, it was very common to have alcoholics taking regular massive doses of niacin and things like that. He was interested and curious, and some of what he tried was pretty, I think, scary. But he was an extraordinary guy. In '66, Abby Thatcher died. Abby Thatcher had a very, he brought this message to Bill, and Bill credited him and spoke very lovingly about Abby Thatcher to the point of his death. Abby died bitter. He had periods of sobriety. He spent some time in Texas with a famous old-timer, Cersei C. And stayed sober for a number of years, 7 or 8 years, and then his wife died and he drank again. He really felt like he didn't get the kind of credit that he deserved for Alcoholics Anonymous. And it was, I think, a heartbreaking thing for Bill Wilson that Abby really died resentful at Bill, because Bill really loved Abby Thatcher. 1970, you begin to see the kind of size. These international conferences happen every 5 years, and they're extraordinary. These are, I think, the last pictures of Bill and Lois in upstate New York. Bill died in 1971. There he is with his regular cup of coffee. And he struggled. He had his own egocentric moments. He knew he was the founder of this great movement. And by the same token, he would visit groups and sort of sit in the back row. He'd travel around the country and visit AA groups, and hope that people wouldn't recognize him. He died of emphysema, as did Abby Thatcher. They were all smokers. His last talks are his respiratory disease are pretty prominent. When I first saw this picture, this is a picture of his gravesite, and when I first saw this picture, I thought, here was this guy, this legendary man who made this extraordinary contribution to Alcoholics, to the founding of this social movement, and it looks like there's 50 people there, doesn't it? Right? Well, a year ago, I was there, and now I know it looks like there's 50 people, because I don't think it could tolerate 100 people. It's a very, very small country graveyard just outside of East Dorset, Vermont. And he has a very, very simple tombstone.